Okay, so tomorrow is the FOMC meeting with Jerome Powell. It's going to be at 1:30 p.m. Central Time or 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is the final FOMC Federal Reserve meeting for the year. Also, this week is option expiration for the month, the third week of December. So there's a lot going on, and option expiration for the month normally means there's going to be, I guess, selective level, technical level that one of the major stocks, the big stocks like Tesla, Amazon, Apple, they're gonna have technical level that they want to land it on for that option expiration because it is the last major essentially this is the last option expiration for the year as far as the monthly so this week is a very important week. You got the Fed Reserve speaking for the year and also looking forward for next year. And I don't know what Jerome Powell can say um, that can keep the market going. There is a good chance that they may sell the news because he's gonna have to say everything perfect, even though you can see right here. They continue to print and increasing. I mean, when you see the trend of increasing FOMC printing, Fed Reserve printing, this is gonna spark optimism in the market. Will this balance sheet continue to go up for next year? I mean, this year is practically done. What are we gonna do for next year? There's probably going to be a sell-off next year. I mean, it's just the as far as in January, beginning of January, there most likely gonna be a sell-off because I mean all the gangs of 2020. I mean, this is essentially the peak. Where we at right now, virtually the peak, and everybody should have nice green portfolio for 2020. Going to 2021, maybe a bumpy start, maybe a big sell-off, and that's something I'm probably going to try to capitalize on. Because the vaccine play is the only thing you can play. The stay-at-home stocks are pretty much dead. All the retail stocks, I mean, all the high flyers are pretty much going to correct in anticipation of a retractment. I mean, I don't know what Jerome Powell can say to prevent a forward-looking statement that the total number of balance sheets, the promo purchasing for 2020 is going to continue to go upward, given that the vaccine has already started. For some, I mean, there's initial shipments from Pfizer and other vaccines are gonna from other companies and throughout the world as well. I mean, this is not just what the Feds in the United States are gonna do, but the Feds throughout the global economy. Are they gonna continue to print, given that the vaccines, uh, starting to be distributed incrementally, of course, but eventually, I think by March, April, you might get 50% of the, or maybe 25 to 50% of the population inoculated. So what's the justification for continuing to print? I'm not exactly sure how they can justify it. As soon as this trend continue to, as soon as this trend start to taper, just a little bit, you're gonna see a massive, essentially a massive getting out, because no one wants to be caught holding the bag. I mean, who wants to get caught holding the bag when everything is at record high? Everything is essentially 5 to 10 years forward looking as far as price appreciation, valuation. Yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna catch the sell off, but I don't want to try to. You don't want to feel that pain of holding just like it was in November. I mean, if you bought somewhere up here and you're holding it down here, that's a good, I don't know, 10% or whatever it may be. You don't want to hold that loss in your portfolio, looking at a 10% that might drag on for a while before it goes back up, and it may not go back up. Who knows? The way things work, the stock market is a casino. There's just no way around it, and the casino is essentially these money being printed by the FOMC, the margins, the free liquidity out there that players, day traders, hedge funds, they can essentially create money and hedge using, low interest rates across the board globally. So if interest rates starts to go up a little bit, because essentially the Fed's going to decrease their purchasing, and that will maybe the core would just increase a little bit. Obviously they're going to keep the Fed fund rates at zero, but as far as what the financial markets anticipate, if they anticipate a decrease in purchasing from the Fed, they may incrementally increase their interest rates. And I'm talking about the financial institutions like E-Trades and whatever, right? If they increase their margins across the board, Charles Schwab, any financial institutions lending out money, buying cars, buying a loan for your home, whatever it may be, right? Just a incrementally increase in interest rates will be catastrophic to the stock market, not necessarily the economy, of course, because the vaccine play is hopefully going to rescue the small market or the small business that has been pretty much holding out on just loans and once business return to some sort of normalcy as far as foot traffics and people going in, that will essentially help the economy global or macroly, but that does not help the stock market. The stock market has diverged from the economy because of what the Feds have been doing. So, what do you want to listen to the Fed's statement, or at least follow up on what they're saying for next year? I mean, these Feds meetings are going to be increasingly important because everybody's want to understand what is they're going to do now that the vaccine is starting to be distributed. What are the Fed's strategy going forward? I mean, I'm hoping the analysts are going to ask some very tough questions. And those tough questions are going to essentially tell you that they're going to have to taper off eventually. Um, I mean, I don't know how this market can keep going, to be honest. I mean, nobody, unless you have no idea what's going on, will want to, can buy at this level, unless you are a hedge fund, day trade or whatever, and who can, I mean, I think all of this is essentially options manipulation to get the price higher, to get the options at a selected target. So, but that being said, everything is looking strong until I guess. I mean, let's see what happens tomorrow if it continues. I mean, if Jerome Powell say the right thing, it may. Gosh, I just feel like he's gonna say something that they're gonna sell the news. I mean, it's just this might be the top. This might be the top where this essentially is a failed breakout. Tomorrow where it tried. Maybe he'll say something and it will spark an initial whatever he might say might spark an initial buying or a flash purchasing, and then it will fail, and then that will signal the top If you get one of those things where it's a doji top here, and then that would be a sell-off or a correction for, or it may just bounce around, but and then next year, it probably the beginning of January probably gonna see a quick retracement. That being said, this everything's still looking fairly strong. The SPY looks SPY still looks very similar to the Nasdaq. IWM. This one is just the small caps. Yeah, they're benefiting the most. So, yeah, I don't normally know how to play the small cap because it can keep going. I mean, it's the strongest of the three indexes. Um, but I wouldn't be buying the IWM right now, or any of the indexes. Financials looking, yeah, similar. Financials, SPY, uh, DIA, they all look very similar. Amazon, this looks pretty much dead, as far as a breakout, because although you do have this support on the 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this week, I'm expecting, because it's option expiration, I'm expecting 3,200. Because essentially what this says is, it's trying to hold this level or break out from this level and get to a significant level, a technical level for option expiration. It looks like 3,200 is that level. However, if people do not like what the Feds are saying, they might sell off the market, and of course, Amazon will sell off as well. So that will be 3,100 for the target for this week, the close of this week. So you either got 3,200 or 3,100. That's right now sitting at 3,163, so the bias is higher. However, they may sell off. So I would be very wary of buying anything prior to the Fed's announcement. Tesla, of course, it's still very strong. The target is 61.8, like I said, and it corrected. Now it's retracing or recovering back, retesting the 61.8 level. And this level probably, I want to say it's gonna get there again or break out of it. Because next week, Monday, is when Tesla is gonna enter the S&P 500. So, it looks like it's targeting to break out um, of this level by Monday for the S&P 500. But again, if the Fed says things that if they sell off with the Fed's announcement, this might be the top. Well, tomorrow is probably gonna retest this at the morning. So that might be a fail breakout with, one more attempt at 61.8, a fail breakout, and then the Fed, whatever the Feds say, it's gonna, or it might just penetrate it a little bit on the, initial, um, initial increase, initial buying from the Feds, and then it will sell off. Um, yeah, there might be some traps being set, because the FOMC meeting is just a lot of time the initial movement from the FOMC meetings are just traps. I don't know how they do it, but I guess the day traders or the hedge fund, they initially set up some kind of Biden, false strength signal kind of thing, and then it gets you to get in, and then boom, it'll just correct and then continue to correct, and it'll just flush you out. You can't hold with that pain. The pain from the correction is going to be so bad that you just gotta sell. You're not going to want to hold that loss for that long. So I would avoid any temptation to buy tomorrow on the initial buying from the Fed announcement if they say something optimistic. and traders are somehow gonna spark this head fake, kind of a buy signal to get any of the people of any newbies, anybody who just fell for the trap to get in, and then it's just gonna correct. Apple, surprisingly, I guess, eventually gathered strength, support on the 100, or failure. I mean, this, I guess, it looked at the time, it looked like it was dead in the water with these hanging top. You can see one, two, three, four hanging top. Um, but it didn't get down to the 100. So it's a lot stronger than Amazon, because Amazon was testing this 100 over and over again. It didn't get down to 100, and now it's just breaking out. Boom. Yeah, Apple, surprisingly 2.17 trillion, but less manipulated than Amazon, who one only 1.5, well, not only, but it's not as big as Apple yet. It's just so manipulated, just so control. Even with Black Friday, I mean, it's just not gonna move right now. And I think that's because of the vaccine play, or the vaccine news, people anticipating the vaccine. I mean, I guess back then I don't know why, I guess they knew the vaccine was coming or something, but it just didn't move on earnings, it didn't move on anything. Black Friday, it's just not moving. So this is, essentially, Amazon, it looks like it's dead in the water, even though it does right now have a target of 3,200 for option expiration. I don't see this breaking out. I mean, there's nothing Amazon can say that can break out. Essentially, this is classified as a stay-at-home stock, and these stay-at-home stocks are going to get sold off next year, including Zoom and Peloton and any of the big, stay-at-home play. Even Shopify, I believe, is gonna correct pretty big. It just looks like, it's so strong right now, but I mean, yeah, it's a stay-at-home stock, so I wouldn't be playing for it. Several plays, that looks good. Maybe Alibaba, support at the 200. Although if you look at the weekly, I'm actually waiting, for this target. I might do a slight play to just maybe they'll break out tomorrow. I can maybe hopefully catch this, but I think I won't be staying in on Baba, because I think there is a target for the 50% on the weekly, which lines up, with the 50-day moving average, or the 50-week moving average. I mean, that's just amazing. The 50-week moving average is lining up with the 50% retracement. My goodness, and it's at a key technical level too. That obviously going to have the initial support, and if it doesn't, find support there, look at the 61.8 right at this breakout point. Um, Maybe it'll get there because of the whole next year correction, but I'm hoping to get something on the long term, or semi-long, some sort of nice swing trade at the 50% retracement, which also line up with the 50-day moving average. So BABA is the best, play right now that isn't like a high flyer or trying to catch, trying to play a technical support level. So that's a good one. I mean, these IPO guys, I mean, this snow thing is just so amazing. It's running up and it broke down. Now, who knows? This just has increased volatility. I don't know what to say about it. Other than it's gonna swing, one way or the other. Zoom, yeah. The only thing I can say about Zoom is it you I don't see how this thing can recover now. I mean, it's just technically any bounce. The next bounce target may be this, and maybe the 50 and the 20 will line up somehow. I don't know, as this continue to go up. Also fits with the 50% retracement. So they may line up or close enough line up, and it may break out a little bit, and then it'll fail. So you get these hanging top. You get these type of hanging top. Although this hanging top is a little high, surprisingly, but anyhow, because Zoom is not a big enough stock where it gets clean technical. I mean, this is as clean as you're gonna get. You got one, two, three, four. Um, Hopefully there's another hanging top here, and then it'll fail. That's the only thing I can say about Zoom. Netflix, I mean, looks like it's gonna fail eventually because there's just no content on Netflix, and it's a stay-at-home stock. But Netflix is a beloved stock for whatever reason. I don't know why people love this stock so much. 230 billion with really not. I mean, YouTube has much better quality of content than and viewers than Netflix. And with the connected TV, people actually watch YouTube more than Netflix. But I think long term wise, this stock is essentially a dead stock because there's just no content quality with Netflix, to be honest. It has a pretty good browsing menu and recommendation menu, whereas YouTube is not. They need to fix YouTube, and YouTube got too much advertisement. It's really annoying that Google is really damaging their own best content media platform with YouTube, with so much commercials. I mean, geez, Google, come on, stop it. Too much commercials on YouTube. Find a way to reduce that, or at least make the commercial more entertaining. I mean, see the same commercial over and over again. It's so annoying. And their recommendation, the browsing menu is not very good compared to Netflix. So if they can fix that, YouTube essentially can take over Netflix because I think younger generation, they like the way they don't have the appetite for watching something so long, like Netflix. You have to, unless there's a nice series like, Stranger Things and other, the series on Netflix, but they don't have enough content like those to maintain the price level where it's at. These Nvidia is of course tied to Bitcoin because of all that mining and also video games. So, yeah, I don't know what to say about that stock. TTD, this is a connected selective advertisement on connected TV. Very good stock. 39 billion. Yeah, this is a good hold long term, but it's so freaking expensive. Where can it correct to before I can start adding to? At least buy into it. I don't know. I mean, geez, it's just so expensive, price wise. But valuation, 39 billion isn't that high, but maybe the 700, 600, 500. I mean, yeah, who knows? But again, if they see a decrease, if everybody start going out and once the vaccine comes into play and everybody start going out and eventually, try to do normal things again, I mean, this stock can correct tremendously because you're gonna have less people watching TV. So that's another thing. Netflix is probably going to see a huge sell-off because the vaccine, people are gonna, start going out and they're gonna see less traffic as far as people staying at home and watching TV. But yeah, you got Dash, DoorDash. These IPOs are so freaking, they come out very hot. This one is, 45 billion. This is so expensive. But it's probably gonna see a bounce if it continues correct. Airbnb, again, it's lower than the IPO price, but still much more expensive than the listing price of where it should be. Big C, this one is probably a long-term hold that eventually, this one will eventually see like 150 because it's only 4 billion. It's probably gonna get to 10 billion eventually. So that's 100% gain eventually. If you catch it on the downturn on the sell-off for next year, I would hold on to this guy long term wise because even though it's much weaker than Shopify at 4 billion or wherever you might get in at 3 billion, it's so cheap. I mean, it's so cheap that you got to expect it to double eventually. So that's the play. That's the best long term hold I can think of is Big C. You got all the other IPOs are kind of hard to play. McAfee. This one is looks like technically is bouncing. McCullen oscillator event now showing a buy signal, higher volume. Vroom, I don't know what the heck it is, but it's technically, yeah, I'm not gonna play with it. But Boeing. Yeah, these Boeing is a vaccine play, but I mean, it's probably gonna go higher eventually. But I mean, where if you're lucky, you can get in on the correction if it correct. That's the thing. You never know when it's correct. Skyworks, yeah, Mastercard, AMD at the top already. That's a Bitcoin play. Lilly, look at this guy. I mean, it just runs. Pfizer is probably a good one to get in on a correction down to here. Right now it bounced on the 50, but the 50 is so close to the 100, just is so close to the 200. I expect it to probably test the 200 again. This one eventually is gonna run, but how long do you want to wait? I mean, you can probably wait for another 2 months before eventually it's gonna run. It's probably just stuck in the weeds for a while. Humana is a decent one, technically at 200 day moving average. So this one is a technical bounce. Home Depot is a nice technical bounce, although yeah, I mean, it'd be nicer to get it down to here, but it's still decent level. Low risk, although on a sell-off, everything's gonna get sold off. And of course, the solar play, Chinatown, these guys are kind of, got out at the top, and now I'm trying to get back in. I did get back in. Let's just say I got back in the sun run today, um, because I got out somewhere up here, but um, didn't hoping for further correction, but yeah, I didn't want to miss out on the next run up, so got in on sun run. These solar plays are the hot plays. Look at solar power, fuel tech. These are energy plays, but they're very similar to solar plays. Plug play, JKS. Um, yeah, this one is probably another good one. Because First Solar is so well, yeah, the best one is solar power. Or first, actually, Sunrun is the most expensive, huh? But solar power is the most expensive as far as price level. And of course, you got the EVs. So Neo, looks like Neo is gonna bounce. Lean, XPV, Blink, Nikola. These EVs they're so hard to play now, but they do have interest in them, and because they do have interest on them, eventually they're gonna bounce. It's just you don't know where the correction is gonna if it's gonna continue to correct and then bounce. But keep your eye on them, and I guess this looks like a bounce, but yeah, I'm not playing it. Um, this is where I want to park some long-term money. Is in like the vaccine play is on Valerio, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Carnival Cruise Line. Any further correction, you don't know if this correction is already done and it's gonna just continue to go up. It's so hard to determine, right? Because you don't want to miss the boat when they run, but again, it does look expensive to where it's at. So I'm just gonna hope for this price target right here for Norwegian Cruise Line. I'm just gonna hope where it gets there. But once it get there, it's probably gonna get to here. But I don't care. I'll probably get hit by a lot here if it gets here, and then another lot if it gets there. Beyond Meat looks dead in the water, but eventually this is gonna run. So that's a safe play as well. This CRISPR thing, I want to get in so badly, but I can't. I mean, when is it gonna correct? Who knows? Eventually, hopefully it'll correct and I can get in. This is a nice one. The whole CRISPR therapeutic does DNA slicing and whatnot. Um, VeriSign, yeah, it's the top of its channel. This is a channeling stock, so I probably, if I do short, this is a good short candidate. But there's other short candidate because on the sell-off, everything gets sold off. So this is a good short candidate on no selling off, or if the market continues to maintain at a stable level. When is it gonna correct? Who knows? It might continue to go up and then it'll correct. So it's hard to determine when it reached the top of the channel. Um, yeah, the only other thing is IQ. This one got sold off today. Look at that, 20. So IQ down at this level. Hopefully it can get down to this level. This one's a nice one to get in. Although it may, unless this is a scam stock, it's hard to say, right? Some of these, because it just feels like a scam stock, but 14 billion, too expensive to be a scam stock. So hopefully it can get down to this level, and then eventually it will get back up. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Obviously I can go through other stocks, but oh yeah, look at that. The marijuana stock is seeing some interest. So I'm gonna start looking at this one. Uh, Tilray, and also the other one is CGC. Somewhere in here. Yeah, right here. No, that's not it. Anyway, that's cool. Where is that other one? I don't see it. But yeah, the marijuana stock looks like it has, what's ACB? Oh yeah, this is the marijuana stock too. Looks like some positive development. Um, Although this one can run as well. So let's see what's going on tomorrow. I mean, gosh, it already bounced so high in the aftermarket, but it may catch fire. Who knows? So I'm gonna keep my eye on, I guess, the marijuana stock and see what's up with that. So I guess that's it for now.